They're just wrapping up an email. All right, there we go.
Yeah, you know what I just thought of when I said let's go live? You ever seen the Bill O'Reilly?
Yeah, you showed me that clip when he's like
we'll do it live clip.
He's like screaming, right?
It's like a spoof, but he like screams, "We'll do it live. Fuck it. I'll write it."
Was that it was on like a show?
It was like backstage or something. Yeah. If anybody's watching and you want to have a laugh, type in Bill O'Reilly, we'll do it live.
I mean, I looked it up. Hold on.
Clip.
That's tomorrow. And that is it for us today.
You got to show the picture.
Okay, I don't know what. Whatever it is, it's not right on the teleprompter. I don't know what that is. I've never seen that.
No, there it is. We are going to do stick.
Fergus.
Okay, but yeah, there you go.
Now, I can't read it. There's no words on it.
Okay. Ready? Sure.
There's no words there. To play us out. What does that mean? To play us out.
Sting is going to do. It's a video. Sting video.
What is
for credits?
I don't know what that means. To play us out. What does that mean? To end the show?
Yeah.
All right, go.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow.
What show is this on?
For us today, and we will leave you with a. I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay.
No, we'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it, and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
But that was a long time ago. He's young looking there. That's crazy. There was a 38-minute clip or a 38-second clip. I could have clicked on it. I clicked on the long version. It's like 1:35. That's funny. Yeah, you thought you were getting wholesale content? Nope. No, you're getting
funny clip. That's a funny clip. I want to. What did we do last time? It was like a challenge where how many brands could I find in 60 seconds?
I mean, to be fair, I feel like you set that challenge on yourself, and then I was just like, all right.
Yeah, I did it on purpose.
Yeah. I mean, that was what you did actually. I mean, you found every time we're on here, it's just always amazing to me. Like, there's just no end to the amount of brands you can contact and find on SmartScout. So
it's infinitely scalable.
Yeah.
It's the most scalable business model on the planet.
That always gets some controversy.
They're not doing wholesale. They're doing GA.
Glorified arbitrage. There it is.
I mean, you think arbitrage is more scalable than wholesale? Not doing wholesale.
No. I think you're asking me. I was like, well, I mean, we've done arbitrage.
I'm saying if you.
Oh, yeah. No, that's fair.
No, I mean, brand direct relationships. Like, that's what I think of as wholesale.
Yeah.
That's wholesale is brand exclusivity, brand direct relationships. There's nothing more scalable than that. Yeah, we'll probably pop in and do some sourcing here, find a couple brands, answer some questions, some Amazon questions as always. Nice little wholesale Wednesday action. Stock market's roaring after being down.
Yeah, I know. Some craziness going on. I saw that today too. I haven't really been paying attention, to be honest, but
because Trump tariffs got paused. But,
I saw it was like going up in China though or something. But I mean, to be fair, like we actually got that question a couple times on like Twitter, or I think it was relating to like how has that affected us? And I mean, not really. I mean,
it all depends. Like, there's some manufacturers that are going to get impacted by it. I think it depends on what the product is. What the nature of the product is, how long they've been working with the manufacturer. Like, if, we got a lot of brands that have been working with have relationships with the manufacturer and they're just eating the tariffs. We got brands that manufacture in the US. So It's kind of a mixed bag, but overall, like, we're not seeing a whole lot of, impact from it, at least
Yeah.
right now. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, you never know, but I don't know.
Yep. So, real quick, Darkness asking, what do you mean by the pain point in the tonality of the brand owner's voice when he's explaining? I need to understand more.
Yeah, I think that comes with reps. Like, it's you have a, if you've never called, like, you have no baseline. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I don't know. I'm just using an analogy here. Like, if you've never like played a particular sport or something, and you have no point of reference, like you don't know what's good and what's not, type of deal, right? So same thing goes with making a call. Like, if you've only made a limited amount of calls, you have no baseline to compare it to. But like in the past, 24 hours, I made about 55 calls or so. And I can tell you right now that I was able to pick up on which one of those was more promising than the next, and vice versa. But it's only because I've done so many of them, and I just have you have something to base it off of. So pain points just relating to like being unsure, things like that. But you get a gauge on that the more calls you do, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, tonality is big. Like I'm writing the script for our next YouTube video, and it's all about how to contact brands. And one thing that I'm really trying to emphasize in the video is, what to do when you're faced with objection. A lot of people, they get aggressive, or they, get transactional, start throwing money at them. They just don't really know how to react to objection or rejection, rather. And, it's all in the tonality. It's all in slowing down the conversation. It's like the Chris Voss thing. You're talking to me now.
That's crazy. That gives me like goosebumps every time I hear that.
Yeah, I know. If
That,
anybody
did you listen to the audiobook?
Never Split the Difference we're referencing. If you haven't watched it, it's a great read, but it teaches a lot about a lot of useful stuff that you can use in this business model. But it's all sales. The more we do wholesale, the more I realize I'm like, yeah, this is all sales.
Yeah,
especially with brands.
Yeah, that narrator that reads that book is so good. He just makes it.
Yeah,
it's like the tonality on that.
Yeah, and James is asking, hey James, how's it going? Can you talk about how you guys convinced the first few brands to work with you?
I mean, I don't know what your opinion on this is. I think sometimes when you know nothing, it's just you reach out to enough brands and you get lucky. Like, I think that people look for this magic thing at the beginning. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it is overcoming the objection, learning from one call to the next, going and, putting in the reps so that, like, because every call you have, you're going to, you got to look at it as like a learning experience. And I remember in the beginning, from call to call, I would walk away from one call with a little bit more knowledge going into the next call, but, and then if you compound that for months and years, you just get so confident in delivering the message to brands that it's just becomes second nature, where you literally have a solution for every objection. Like, there's not a single objection that a brand could throw at either one of us that we wouldn't have an answer for. But it didn't start like that. It started in the beginning, trial and error, learning from call to call. So it's not so much about, closing the $1 million deal or closing brand exclusivity on day one. It's more so just about putting in the reps, learning from one call to the next. This is a long-term process, like, delaying gratification. You might not see results for 3-6 months. I mean, that's like you might start closing accounts after month 3. Like and then you start to see it compound month 3, month 6, month 9, month 12, and so on. So I think the ability to delay the gratification and continuously put the calls in is what's going to set you up for success.
Yeah, but you don't need to know everything at the beginning, right? I mean, it's not like there's you don't like I was saying, if you reach out enough at the beginning, even if you know nothing, you still will close accounts if you're reaching out in enough volume,
Yeah. You can just you could just get a product to sell in your inventory. Like, it doesn't have to be like, you don't need to provide value and convince anybody on every call.
Yeah. Don't swing for the fences. We talk about that a lot. A lot of people overanalyze and they try to shoot above their, punch above their weight class, essentially. I had 2 calls today. I didn't tell you about this yet, but I had 2 calls today where they literally hung up the phone on me, completely hung up. And I was like, wow, that was a great call. Like, genuinely. Like, I genuinely was like, that was a great call. And like, I know you understand that, but like, no, like, people listening to this are like, what the hell are you talking about? Right? Like, they hung up the phone, but it was in the potential and the tonality and things they led on to that are going to allow, us to pitch down the road. But yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing is, it's like I'm been dealing with a company where it's got a really high selling price, it's got really high volume, and their presence is terrible. Their listings suck. They have a big knockoff problem. And the person that I'm talking to is very unreceptive, and I just keep, I keep sending him stuff and I keep getting him on the phone when I call, and, he keeps dismissing what I have to say, but he'll let on like just an inkling, right? He'll give me a little bit, like an inkling more than the last call. And I like hold on to that inkling because it's just a fraction of the way more than what he gave me before. So it's like that in combination with all of those other factors that I'm seeing, because it's like, you're not going to persistently follow up like that for a product that's selling 20 units a month.
Right.
It's like, it's a combination of the fact that like we're seeing, a product selling for 3 digits, selling very, very high volume, and their presence is really bad on Amazon, is what gets us to like really continuously push and be persistent.
Yeah, that's something too that I'm not like, I don't know about you, I'm like not naturally good at that. Like, I'm not pushy. And so it's like it was harder for me to kind of get into that mindset, I think. I don't know, it's just not me, but like, I've gotten to the point where it's more normalized now. So I don't know.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit more about what you mean when you say sell the vision.
Somebody watched the vlog. I assume so, right? I said that a lot in the vlog. We just uploaded a video. If you guys haven't seen that, I took a trip and to close an account. And so it's on the YouTube channel if you want to take a look at that. But yeah, I mean, selling the vision, I always, like, we talk about that in terms of making it understood what you're trying to accomplish, not using terminology relating to Amazon. So we use Amazon as a means of solving problems and doing the things that we know about, right? We use listing optimization, we use ads, we use whatever it might be to solve the problems for the brand. But a lot of times the brand doesn't understand that. It's like talking a foreign language. So selling, better brand presence and then using, Amazon ads as a means of doing that. But you don't sell them on Amazon ads, you sell them on better brand presence on, just in general, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, things like vision are, how their brand is perceived by customers and customer loyalty and, real estate on Amazon and, how that affects their other channels of distribution and things what are their core values? You know, ask a brand that. Like talk about calibrated questions and like not something that they're used to hearing. It's like 1,000 other people contact them to open a wholesale account and you're asking about their core values. It's like sound different, be different. Yep, that's coming. Tangible things, brands understand what do you mean?
Yeah, it's the same thing I was talking about. Just should the goal on the initial call be to open an account, or do we start pitching value after denial?
Yeah, now you're going to take the path of least resistance to open a wholesale account. If you get denied, then you would potentially try to, open up the conversation. But you skipped a step there because if you get denied, you don't start pitching value, you ask questions. All right. So you make the call, you get denied. Why? And you start unpacking slowly but surely. And then you're able to provide the value, right? Because if you just get denied and then you just start, we're all guilty of it where it's like, we have a crappy call and it's like, you start just stumbling on your words and just start throwing stuff at them. But that's not the way to do it most of the time. Start asking questions.
I haven't done that in like a little while, but yeah, those are always like, because you get off the phone and you're like I just take a second and I'm like, what? I literally say it. I'm like, what the hell was that? Like, what did I just do?
Yeah.
That hasn't happened in a while, but now that I said that, it's probably gonna happen tomorrow or something. So
yeah, but it goes to show that, it doesn't matter how long you've been doing this, like everybody's got bad calls.
Yeah, I have trouble when the other person, not when they're non-receptive. I have trouble when they give you nothing to work with. And I'm just talking to myself. Like those are the ones that I just start word vomiting,
Yeah, exactly. If you start working with a distributor selling famous brands, is it possible to reach 10K per month? Most likely get an IP complaint.
Well, I mean, I think they're kind of separate questions, right? Like you can get an IP complaint with anyone if they're not vetted. I mean, what would you say as far as like 10K a month? I mean, I think that's you can do that off. There are accounts you can do that off one account,
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. It's the distributor's got to be authorized by the brand. And if they're not authorized by the brand, or if you can't get the brand to tell you if the distributor is authorized, you really need to go to the distributor and request redacted documentation of an agreement between them and the brand. It's that simple. I mean, and if they can't provide you with that, if they can't provide you with an invoice, that's really that's a major red flag. But if they can't provide you with a segment of their agreement with the brand, then it's not worth it. Like there's other distributors out there. The best way
you
to
can
do
go
it
to the brand and ask.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying if the brand you can't get access to the brand or something.
Yeah.
But the best way to do it is to go directly to the brand and say, give me a list of authorized distributors.
And even if you're doing brand direct, I mean, you're going to get we have a list of distributors that you just get as a result of doing brand direct calls. So
yeah, no, exactly. We're going to dive into some sourcing here in just a moment. I'm trying to just make it intense for me when I go to source, see if I can find a brand in 60 seconds. But Johan, what's going on, man? It's good to have you. Johan is crushing it. Johan did some coaching with us. And Johan, how much drop your sales volume in here? I mean, he's just scaling infinitely beyond belief. It goes to show because he's putting in the work, right? A lot of people don't make the calls. You put in the work. You go to the trade shows. You build the relationships. Like you're gonna stand out to these brands. It's that simple. It's all about going above and beyond.
Yeah, absolutely. How long did it take the brands you're working with to start seeing results with the value provided when working exclusively? Well, I mean, every brand is different as far as like what they want, right? So it's not like a one size fits all thing. I mean, um, I don't know. I guess it's kind of a tough question to answer because we're actively doing things while we're providing the value walking towards exclusivity, right? I mean, it's kind of like it's not like we just go exclusive and it's like, all right, everything is, everything's better. It's kind of walking towards that process, I think, no?
Yeah, another thing that I'm talking about I'm going to cover in the video is, it's a lot of times brand exclusivity happens after you build the relationship with the brand. It's not just, come on the scene and you go exclusive, right? It's basically like you are the expert on Amazon. So like when Amazon comes to their mind, you have to be so relevant and, between like the frequency of your ordering and, just constantly being top of mind with them, that when somebody says Amazon, they think of you,
Yeah.
and that's what puts you in the best position to go brand exclusive, right? It's a combination of things: following up, persistence, empathy, providing value, and really, I would say most importantly, building the relationship. And a transaction is a good way to get the ball rolling, but it's just a means to an end. It's a good way to, the exchange of money is a good way to get your foot in the door, start a working relationship, but it becomes about building trust and building the relationship from there. All right. Well, should we dive into SmartScout here?
Yeah, right after I just want to touch on these last two things actually, because I'm going to give you tough love on this one and say, don't worry about a website. Just pick up the phone and start dialing brands. Like that is how you're going to, like, if you're tired of putting it off, and this goes for anyone, you're not tired enough of putting it off unless you're making the calls. So when you start executing and making the calls, you start seeing results,
Yeah. And look at this. So Johan's doing 80K a month. Behind from getting to 300K with 300K, going from 80K to 300K a month.
It's like a capital problem right there.
That's awesome, man. Love to see it. It's all about putting in the work. It's just, you put in the work, you go above and beyond, and this process is going to reward you.
Actually, follow up to that, just because I want to, like, Johan, how many calls are you making? Just because I want to reiterate the importance of that,
Yeah, but Johan went from, basically,
zero,
no sales to 80K. And I mean, maybe within the past 6 months. It's crazy. It's awesome. I'm going to pop up my screen here.
120 to 150 per week on average.
There you go. Making
It's
120 to 150 calls. That's going to do it. That is certainly going to do it. All right. Well, here we go. So this is the sourcing process and where it all starts, right? So we're gonna go on SmartScout. We're gonna set our monthly revenue to 20,000.
Yep.
And cap it at 200,000. Sellers, we want at least 2 sellers because we don't want private label products. We want the country to be within the United States. What else?
Yeah. While you're doing that, I'm going to touch on some questions we got rolling in here, if that's cool. Kanan, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, says, I was sourcing for a product which Amazon was selling, but couldn't get the sourcing cost to be profitable. Yeah, that's a reality a lot of times, right? Like a lot of times products aren't profitable, and we're doing this while Brad's trying to find a brand here. So a lot of times they're not profitable, and we talk about making a product profitable, and you do that in two ways. You do that through either getting the cost down or getting the price up, right? And you do both of those through developing a relationship. So if you want a lower price on the product, then work with the brand or the distributor to get a lower price. And if you want to get the cost up, then work to eliminate sellers. So it's just about developing a relationship, but also you got to consider that, a lot of other factors emotionally and that type of thing when it comes to dealing with that, just the relationship with the brand.
Yeah, I think it's easier to get the cost down than the price up, because the price up, you're talking about going exclusive, right?
Yeah, or just eliminating,
Yeah. All right, so some of the things that I look at here as I'm scrolling through SmartScout are like three main points. Like one is the brand score, targeting a lower brand score because that tells me the listings, aren't the best, so I can potentially come in and provide value. And then I generally look at the average selling price, and I already know these are moving six figures a month. So like, I might look at the average selling price here. So that's why I would click on this here. $75, pretty good sell price. See if we can grab one more.
What's crazy is that some sellers are selling it lower than Amazon. How are they sourcing? Yeah, it beats me, man. I wish I could answer that question. What I've learned over the years and what Brad and I have talked about is like, don't pay attention to what other people are doing, because a lot of the times you're not going to figure it out. I don't understand some business models. Follow up on that was I contacted the brand directly. They're authorized distributors, but the price wasn't still profitable at high MOQ. Yep. That's a persistent issue. So not sure to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, I might as well just bring this up because it's right here. Never buy from Gene Pro because they're scammers. It's like a cash grab system they have where they just like sell to any Amazon sellers. I don't even know what the hell they're doing, but they're like a scam company. So like, don't.
Yeah, you'll get an email from them that says like, we only have 2 spots left and this and that, and we want to get you in. Yeah. Anyone that's trying to sell you on why you should buy their product, don't buy from them.
Yep. Exactly.
Next question here says your high caliber accounts, did they start out as high caliber or did they become high caliber as the relationship grows? Well, I mean, the sales volume is pretty much always the same. But when it comes to the, I guess, share of the sales that we get, that hopefully grows, over time. So yeah.
Yep. Just open some things up here. First thing I'm looking at is I just really don't like the electronics category.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got a really nice sell price, but I mean, you're going to get way higher returns in this category. Like, you got Kellard's big music.
Yeah, they're huge.
Distributor. So it's like, I mean, I don't know. What are you thinking? Like, I don't really like this.
I mean, there's 11 sellers in MAP. I'm not really a fan.
Yeah. Because that tells you, Sweetwater, you got big music sellers on it. So it's like, that tells you like you're going to have much, especially if you're a newer seller, like you're going to have a hard time of getting that buy box, and you have no leeway to lower your price if you need to try to regain the buy box.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe if you're a bigger seller, I'd maybe reach out to them. You got a better chance of just jumping in and grabbing the buy box. Like for me personally, they would probably go on the list to contact, but I really wouldn't be expecting a whole lot with this.
Right.
But I mean, we tend to avoid MAP pricing, unless of course like we're exclusive. The MAP pricing is great.
Mm-hmm.
Got a lot going on here with the price.
Question in here: if you do 80K revenue a month, can you already make a good salary? For example, 4 to 5K. I mean, at the average with wholesale, you're looking at probably about 8 to 10% net margin, right? So, at the end of everything with a business, and that's, yeah. I mean, you break down the numbers though based on like what your ROI is and what your profit margin is.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably do higher margin if you have a smaller business, but it all depends on what you're investing in. How much you're growing, and if you're investing in like capital expenses and things like that, software and systems, and you're very focused on growth, maybe your margin's going to be lower. But if you're more so running something like that's a little bit more hands off, might have higher margins. It all kind of depends. But that's pretty much the range of what you'd be looking at. Yeah, I mean, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, I think we should definitely look into this. This looks pretty solid. What is this? This is a fuel filter. Okay, so it's not. What was that thing on the top? What was that ad? I don't know what the ad placement on this. They're advertising that on fuel fuel filters. Something's wrong in the algorithm.
Cut off her head.
Is that a woman? I can't see it. It's like small on my screen.
That is a woman.
I literally can't tell. That's small. Oh, there you go. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, well, purchasers of fuel filters, it's probably the same market. So,
yeah, you ain't kidding.
Wow, we got a lot going on here. Let's unpack this. I really like it right off the rip. I mean, from what I can see. I mean, what about you?
Yeah, it looks pretty good to me. I mean, there was this listing selling 1,000 units a month. The other one was selling 900 units a month. I mean, between everything, what did SmartScout say? It was FAS is the name.
Yeah.
Is that here?
It was others. I saw it. Good on.
Right there.
Yep.
So they're doing 145K monthly. That's pretty solid.
Yeah.
Listings are terrible.
They're terrible.
And
another thing to keep in mind right here, we have a merchant fulfilled offer in the buy box. So unless it's substantially lower, really not a lot of competition from what I can tell. Also, to answer the question in the chat here, do you guys tend to avoid electronics audio? I was thinking about getting into this niche, higher ASP. Yeah. Depends on the scenario, but yeah, we don't really like it. It's not our favorite.
Yeah, you're going to get a lot of returns in electronics, and you're going to get a lot of unsellable returns too. So you really got to make sure like the brand or distributor that you work with is going to be able to replace those. You don't want to get stuck with those returns.
Yeah. Yeah, because then you're just out the inventory in general,
Yeah. If I had to pick a niche, I wouldn't pick electronics.
Remember we ran into those people on a trip and we asked them what they were. They were like, yeah, we're niche sellers on Amazon. And they said they were niche sellers in the batteries category, which probably is borderline, I think, the worst possible category. That like if you had a list of the categories on Amazon, that is like the last place I would sell.
Yeah, I wanted to throw up when I heard that. So this is a good example of a brand that we would contact for a few reasons. One is you have your high volume. It's doing, 1,000 units a month on this listing, 1,000 units a month on another listing. There's a few other products that had high average selling prices. $40 is a mid to high average selling price, which is also good. They got a complete mess when it comes to resellers, so although they've declined, they clearly have way too many. Price is inconsistent. It's all over the place, so a lot of value you could provide this brand.
Yeah, this is solid.
Perfect example of a brand we would contact.
Those things are light too because they're filters. Fuel filters. Those are really light,
Yeah.
a little
And see, like,
bulky.
think about this is such a great like a replenishable, right? Because people are reordering something like this, right?
Yeah,
It's these niche type obscure categories where it's like it's not sexy. It's a freaking uh fuel filter, right? Like, but this is the type of stuff that you can make a fortune on in wholesale because it's like people aren't looking at this. It's not like a high-end beauty brand that's like, selling 10,000 units a month and it's got this, beautiful packaging. It's like it's a fuel filter. But it's a fuel filter that's literally, if you got an exclusive, what was it, making you 150K a month?
yeah, that's crazy.
So I mean, the riches are in the niches. And that's what it's all about. That is what it's all about.
Automotive is surprisingly hard to close accounts in. Comment in the chat. Yeah. Yeah, there's some categories that are
I mean,
harder than
Linus,
others.
what's going on, man? I mean, automotive is, I think it depends. They're very distribution heavy, automotive. So they, are very focused on their distributors. You'll find a lot of automotive brands will not sell to you if you don't have like a shop or you're not industry specific, but there might be opportunity with distributors too.
Yep. Have you guys faced authenticity questions with Amazon? I was sourcing a product from an authorized distributor. Still, Amazon deactivated one of the accounts despite having supply chain documents. You can answer that. You want me to do it?
Yeah, I was just reading it again. Yeah, it's all about going back and forth with Amazon and, redlining and highlighting different segments of your invoice and everything. If you can get an LOA from the brand or from a distributor, that'll be more powerful for you. But it's got to be authorized. So if you are in fact sourcing from an authorized distributor, showing Amazon, maybe get from the distributor redacted documentation of an agreement between them and the brand, like I said earlier. Because if Amazon's saying the product is inauthentic, well, now it's your word against theirs. So it's like you got to now prove to them that is in fact authentic product. So you can't just take the distributor's word for it that it's authentic. You need some sort of ask them for, a segment, like an excerpt. The word we use is redacted segment of their agreement with that brand. Or better yet, get a letter from the brand or something. Get the brand to say, hey, this is a list. Yes, they are authorized by us. And if they're authorized by them, then they're buying direct from them. So you're getting authentic product. That was a good wholesale product we just found there as an example.
Yeah, it was kind of hit all the bases that we look for,
Yeah, I like the obscurity of it. I like the reorder nature of it. It's replenishable. People are gonna order it over and over again. It's niche, so it's not. It's just like, it's not a product that people like are like staring at every single day because it's, like I said, it's not sexy. And that's where the money, like a lot of the money is where, on these not sexy products, it's just like this stuff sells like hotcakes and,
Yeah, no, I mean, not to really get into it because it's kind of more of a deeper conversation, but replenishables are great for ads too. I would rather be advertising on a replenishable product than a non-replenishable product. Not going to get into why that is, but if you ever start working with a brand, it's probably an exclusive nature and you're doing ads or something, replens are the way to go.
It's recurring revenue. It's
Yeah.
what it's all about. People, that's what we're after is recurring revenue, and customers come back, they reorder. It's great. It increases it increases. It's a never-ending market when you have a product like that, rather than having a product that somebody buys and they're done with. They only need it once, kind of thing. You have to continuously, acquire new customers, right? But if you already have that customer indoctrinated into your ecosystem, and they're just signed up on a payment plan or whatever the hell they're doing, right? Like or they're on Amazon and they're doing sub and save. It's it's recurring revenue. It's great. Yeah. Well, that was solid. Yeah. Johan, you said it well. The best profit margin products are in the less expected categories. That's for sure.
I don't even know what half of what we sell does. No idea.
Yeah. It's it's true. The brand wouldn't like you hearing that one. Some of the brands we work with. Better cut that clip out.
Yeah, really.
Nah. That's all right. You don't need to be an expert in the product, but you just need to be an expert on Amazon.
Exactly.
That's why you exist for these brands. Another question rolling in here. How do you guys deal with the suppliers that have hundreds of thousands of products online in their web portal?
We don't deal with brands like that. That's a brand that is out of
that's
the
not
scope.
even a brand.
Yeah, that's a conglomerate. You know what I mean? That's we deal with the brands.
I guess a massive wholesaler, it sounds like.
Right. We deal with brands that we can get in touch with a decision maker, and we're not going to get in touch with a decision maker if they're carrying 100,000 SKUs.
So that's a distributor model. We're not saying you can't make money with that model. You can, but I think brand direct is just a better way to go. And if you do work with distributors, hand selecting maybe some of the best products, going one at a time, and always starting your search on Amazon, finding out what the best selling products are on Amazon, where you can make the most margin, what's the selling price, because I don't want to be competing with 30 sellers on a $9 product. It's like, starting your search on Amazon is the best way to do it when there's hundreds of thousands of products. You can't start going through their catalog and then, that's going to be massive project. Yeah. I also hate SKUs. A lot of people think talk about scaling wholesale with, just getting a lot of products. But we've been able to scale more so through higher selling prices over time. It's not to say we don't take on a lot of SKUs, we do, but I just think it's way more efficient to keep it
same revenue, ideally same profit numbers, just less labor because you're prepping less SKUs.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
You're probably pumping out a lot of SKUs though. You're still probably pumping out a ton of orders. You're just not, don't have a breadth of thousands of SKUs.
Yeah, exactly. If you guys have any last minute questions on anything, we'll probably be wrapping it up here. This is a good session. I think there's a lot of knowledge shared between everybody in the chat, and hopefully we gave you some value. Make your calls. That's really the end of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Make the calls. We put a lot of good stuff out on YouTube. So got some good videos coming out for you guys about how to contact brands, how to find brands, all different stuff. So stay tuned for that. And we're live every Wednesday at 7:00.
Yeah, go watch my vlog, because I lost my laptop on the trip and I still didn't get it back. So that's the least you can do, is go watch the vlog. Maybe the ad money will make up for it. Yeah, right.
There is no ad money on YouTube.
Lots of
Yeah,
luck.
no, it was a good session for sure. Very quickly, we're able to find these brands, in lightning speed because we've done it thousands of times. So the only way to get good at it is by doing the process over and over again. So, that being said, just put in the reps and you will scale massively. So we'll see you next time. Peace out.